have just an explanation as to why we even in the first place set ourselves up for this sort of overachievers kind of lifestyle? What traps us into that kind of modus operandi, in your opinion?
Given our historical fabric, we traditionally had to struggle and to fight for every right that women have been given. Women's liberation, suffrage rights onwards. And that fight continues today. So the World Economic Forum, for instance, has released a post-pandemic report that says it will take another 132 years before gender pay parity is achieved. Now, this is the context within which we function. So when we come into other arenas of work, of family business, of government, of corporate, it's a fight to have gotten there, where we're getting in from a perspective of we are giving you this place, society is patriarchy is giving us this place, or we're taking the place. We're grabbing the place, right? We've had to. When you are given something, there's a very clear, there's a dotted line, which means we're giving you this, which means that you will fulfill expectations. When you have to fight for something or you take something, the first thing you want to do is safeguard it. You want to consolidate it because you're always vulnerable. Women function from vulnerability. And then you want to strengthen it. You want to keep it, and you can only keep it by strengthening it, which is where we go over and above to achieve, to prove to everybody and to ourselves that we deserve it. When we overachieve, we're saying we deserve this. I deserve to be on the board of directors.
My big question to you is can we afford to go into this without having a fighter's mentality, or will it actually be taken away from us the moment we let go of that mindset?
We can't afford to. We just can't, because everything that is given can also be taken. I think Roe versus Wade is a classic example. I think what is happening to Sana Marin, just because she partied, is a classic example of the fact that women's development, women's success is under the gaze of male scrutiny. The stats say it. 132 years before we achieve gender pay parity, that means it's an unequal system. So you have to prove yourself constantly. So the expectations are very much part of our DNA. Meeting and exceeding them is unfortunately become just the way things are. That's why I said expectation has to be viewed in the context of acceptance, approval, belonging. We've historically been denied this from here, so we cannot not afford to not fight in many ways.
If these expectations are not going to go away for the next 130 years, I'm just taking this number now as a hook here for us to refer to. If this is still going to be like this, and we have to prepare the next 2 or 3 generations for the fact that they might face some extent of this in their lives as women, how do we cope with this in a healthy fashion? So how does this not make us sick physically, mentally, and how does this not discourage us, I would say, from still going after the things that we want and the things that we, quite frankly and blatantly, equally deserve?
This is the $1 million question, right? One is we expect that we're all performing to expectation, proving our worth, proving our place, our deservability. From a women and family business, the role that the seat at the board has been given to us because I deserve it and not because I'm the daughter of somebody else. This is whether you're a man, woman, wherever you fall on the spectrum. This is the malaise of all family businesses, right? Everybody wants to prove. So we accept this about ourselves, right? That there is an inherent, it's coded into our DNA now. Expectations, accomplishments, proving ourselves, all of that. But I think where we need to really is change the inner voice, which is, yes, perform, yes, aspire to achieve and to success, but do not base everything on the result, which is perfection-oriented, which does not allow for mistakes. So set your sights, but we go away from the results-oriented journey and we look at the journey that's about growth, self-discovery, and learning at our own pace.
How do you see sort of the evolution also in the time that you've been active? Like, is it becoming better with all the content that's out there, or is it worse?
No, it's becoming better. We must talk about this. I deal with guilt every day. Every day I'm failing someone. I cannot fully do everyone at the same time. It's not possible. I have 2 children and I'm co-parenting. At some level, I'm failing them because I'm not providing them with this perfect family, right? But, we are constantly engaged in this tussle between being true to ourselves, between what we want to do and wish to do for ourselves, and the roles that we play in other people's lives. And there's a lot of judgment. We're not going to get everything right. We're not. I can tell you we're not going to get. We shouldn't even be striving for that. Let's put a structure in place. Let's function the best as we can. Let's make some room for joy and rest in there. I'm not going to be able to tick every box. I don't choose to tick every box. Today, work is important. Today, the school is important. Some I'm going to have to dance between that. And that's the best I can do. And practice inner self-compassion. Like, be kind to ourselves.
I think these stories that women share help everybody, because I think it just, it normalizes that vulnerability. It normalizes speaking of failures and mistakes at a personal level. So this is really not just a conversation that belongs into one gender category or even one economic strata, right? Like, this is really something that goes across the board in every direction.
Men are as capable of nurture as women are. The feminine and the masculine energy runs in all of us. And expectations are crippling to them as well as they are to us.
Women do not necessarily have a higher emotional intelligence than men. And putting that additional burden on us makes so many women be so quiet, because it's already putting another barrier to entry towards sharing our stories or talking about our mistakes.
If somebody else's, emotional intelligence it's just not how they're wired, right? Then so be it. Well, let's just take everybody as they are. But you're right. You cannot be thrust upon anyone. Let's pry open these labels. Emotional intelligence, empathy, sensitivity is belonging to the woman. And then at the same level, it doesn't belong to men, and they're only supposed to be analytical and decisive. And what rubbish. Every quality belongs to everybody or doesn't belong to everybody. And that's it. And somewhere we gotta dig open these watertight compartments that we're all we're pushed into, and just free ourselves from that.
What frustrates me about that conversation, Naomi, is like, ultimately what we ultimately do is we still have expectations towards ourselves that we then would not have towards others, right? And I think that this is the greatest contradiction of all. And I see this behavior leading to burnouts. When you've arrived at that stage, where a lot of people are, what are the first steps? Maybe mentally, but also like sort of in terms of actions that you can take to sort of like move yourself back into a healthier frame of mind, in your view?
So you have to recognize that when you're at burnout, which is when you're at a place where there is complete depletion of energy. What that complete depletion means is it manifests. Okay, you have to recognize how it manifests. Your body and your mind are telling you something. And so stop. It means you got to stop. You have to stop, and you got to go to the 3 R's, which is rest, sleep and nutrition, rejuvenate, and replenish. Rest, replenish, actually, because your energy depletion, right? So rest, replenish. Where are those places that you can go to which fill you up? Everything that we can do, hobbies, games, play, whatever, holiday, whatever, that replenish us, fill us up. And that's where rejuvenation happens, because that's the new energy that's coming in. That's fresh energy.
If you go from that angle, and in your experience, how can I formulate healthy expectations that give me a sense of success and achievement at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, or at the end of the month, basically maybe across the board? What would that look like in your view?
Well, I'm a mindset mentor, okay? And the thing is, everything starts from the mind. We have to change. My whole thing, philosophy on which the company is based, on which I live my life, and all of that is think, do, be. If we don't change it here, it ain't going to translate. It's about the effort. Like you just stay on course and we be compassionate to ourselves, take a little bit of time to replenish ourselves, understand that we may not perform excellently every day, but the next day we have enough in ourselves to come back and do it again. So it's you have to change your mindset from success driven and success defined to a growth mindset. This is about me. This is my journey where it is about my self-discovery, learning, and growth. And growth never stops. At the core of it is, this is my journey. What do I need to thrive and do my best, and permission to fail?